See the invisible stuff.
See the invisible stuff.
See the invisible stuff.
Okay, it's false. It is not true that men can have sex without the emotions getting involved. I know some fellas hearing this and saying, oh, they disagree with that. Hear what I'm saying, right? This how it can impact your emotions, just on the surface level. Since you still committed this binding act, sex, you partook in it, and you're a man. What it can do, if you don't have no attachment to that girl, what it can do is affect your ability to stay faithful to somebody once you get in a relationship with them. What it can do is make you not want to commit to nobody at all, right? Because you did this emotional act, right? But you was doing it more for the pleasure instead of the connection. And now you been in the lifestyle of the pleasure of that emotional act. But your emotions are still being impacted because committing to somebody requires emotion. Staying committed to somebody and not cheating on them requires emotion. And if the sex that you had is governing your ability or to not be committed or to not want to commit at all, it impacted you emotionally. And we're going to delve deeper into that. But look, because look, in my opinion, and I think a lot of y'all probably would agree, one of the most important decisions somebody gonna make in their life is who they're gonna end up with, who they wanna be with. I feel like people should only date for marriage. Yes, I think if you're dating, you should be dating with intentions to marry, right? Now, I know on the surface, some people probably be like, ah, man, no, sometimes people ain't trying to settle down. People might, just be trying to, kick it and, just have a little friend or whatever, right? Right? The very reason that a complete stranger can come up to you and you engage in a conversation with them and then later on end up having a conversation with them on the phone or whatever, lets you know right there, because people keep saying y'all can just be friends, but this is built on you being a man, that person being a woman, you naturally having that desire for companionship in a romantic way towards each other. That's what this is really built upon. I think people already understand how powerful sex is, right? But I think people do know how powerful, deep, and how deep romantic feelings is too. How that can be life-changing for the good or for the worse, depending on how you're using them and depending on what type of situation that you've been in. I think that people kind of just get, they just kind of overlook. And I think because it's just so normal to just, go deal with somebody. Just have a little girlfriend when you're 15, have a little boyfriend when you're 15. But when you get down to it, that powerful emotion of having feelings for somebody in romance is still being operated in. So do you want to kind of dilly-dab when doing that? Shouldn't you be intentional and specific and purposeful when doing this, right?
I think people only think about the feeling of being in love itself. This is its own unique type of feeling. You can love your mom or your dad or your sister, your brother, your kids, but you can't love them in this type of unique way. Man, ultimately, we here to serve God's purpose, try to be as good as we can be for God, allow Him to shape us through whatever He wants to shape us through. And this is one avenue in which God uses to shape us, relationships. This union being done right, the way God wanted it done, should make you a better woman, should make you a better man. And if you really do this the way that it's supposed to be done, and not try to shortcut it and bring somebody else in the relationship, aka cheating, getting mad and saying, this and that doesn't so, or handling things wrong, if you let it shape you the way it's supposed to shape you and surrender to the process, it will make you a better you. That's what it's supposed to do.
I used to have this car that, after a while the car became kind of unreliable to the where I can only really take little short trips in it. So I went to go take a trip to the store that was probably about 4 minutes away from my house. But on the way back, it started giving me problems. It just conked out on me. thankfully, I had a friend who was he was staying maybe like 2 minutes away from where I broke down. So I called him and he came out there and, he gave me a hand. So we pushed in the car, in the pitch black, and we got it out the way. And right after we finished pushing it, we heard a sound, a loud noise. After we heard the noise, I see an individual standing up in the canal. See, where we broke down at, we broke down right in front of a canal. There was the street, there was a guardrail, and then there was a canal. And I ran over there, and when I ran over there, his entire vehicle was underwater. I'm gonna say maybe 3 inches of his vehicle wasn't underwater. And when I went home, I started thinking, I didn't think about this at the time, but I started thinking like, you know what? Had that guy been 2 or 3 minutes earlier, our vehicle right in front of that spot where the guardrail got hit, right? So had he been 2-3 minutes earlier, that would have been my vehicle. We was trying to get my vehicle out of the way. Who knows? That could have been me. That could have been my friend. I don't, that's what I started thinking about when I got home.
And then I hear a voice say, don't move, empty your pockets. So now it's hitting me, man, I'm getting robbed. If you think you back there by yourself, and all of a sudden you feel something touching you, your instinct gonna be to turn, but I ain't even get to really turn. I might have turned like this much. And then I hear a voice say, don't move, empty your pockets. That's when I made one of the stupidest decisions. One of the stupidest decisions I probably ever made before, right? Boxing with bullets, right? Which is impossible to do in my opinion, but a situation happened where, a dude really got beat up bad. And, everything died down, and it was hours later, and me and 2 of my friends, we were still walking around the neighborhood, right? Somebody hurry up and turned the corner, swerved in front of us, and 3 people hopped out of the car. Now, one of my friends took off running. Like, by the time I realized that he was at least a block away. Another friend, he kind of was like standing behind me. A car swerved in front of you, split the corner fast, swerved in front of you, then 3 people hop out. Man, you need to just assume they got their guns with them. Just assume it. And what I instantly did was like, threw up my hands like, what's happening? What's up with y'all? Like, what y'all trying to do? Yeah, so like I said, what was I gonna do? Box with bullets?
But one of the biggest issues with gangster rap is that people still think it's just entertainment. People still under that impression. And I'm making this video because of people always talking about, why this always happening to a gangster rap, or why they can't just do this. I mean, what is it about this genre of music? Before any of this stuff can even take place, whatever we doing in the physical is already been thought about. We already imagined it. We already felt a certain way to make us do it. But what is grooming our thoughts? What is grooming our imaginations? What is grooming the feelings that we have? That's the thing, right? This music is helping to groom that stuff. You can't govern yourself by gangster rap. And that's all gangster rap is. It's the voice of the streets. And like I said in the video, the streets hate you. Who does the streets love? Nobody. It's building a culture of viewing somebody a certain way, talking about somebody a certain way, feeling a certain way about somebody, right? That's what it's doing. You can't hold on to the voice of the streets, one of the voices of the streets, gangster rap culture, and then wonder why the stuff it's going to happen. Don't stop deceiving yourself. Yes, you have to let go, and I said it in other videos, but it's worth saying again. You have to let go of the love affair with gangster rap. It got a hold of your insides. It's got a hold of your thoughts, your emotions, your vibes, your imaginations. It got a hold of it. Yes, whoever you are, on whichever level you are prone to being influenced by it. If you're being governed by the voice of the streets, and that starts to just become your norm, your everyday legal, your everyday thought pattern,
Why you think this stuff ain't gonna keep happening? It ain't just no entertainment.
So let's just have a real convo. Whenever a gangster rapper get killed, right? In remembrance of that person, in honor of that person, when people want to recollect about that person, they play that person's music. You're about to honor that person and remember him and try to have good memories about him with music that's talking about the same reason why he got killed, if he a gangster rapper. My friend went to work one day. They had this older lady, I think she might have been in her 60s, he said, came up to him one day with tears in her eyes, asking him what happened. She said that she was flicking, through the channels at her house, minding her business, and she stumbled across something called I think it was the BET Award. It was one of them rap award shows, and she was talking about how, I saw the young ladies up there. They had this on. They was doing this. They was doing that. The lady was tearing up. You know why? Because that lady, when it comes to music, she got a real perspective of how things supposed to look. To the point where she about to start crying. At some point, all of us gonna have to enter the righteous unknown, right? That's a place within ourselves. This what the righteous unknown is. It's very important, and I think that it's the key. It's one of the keys to being able to do or get through anything. The righteous unknown is a place, a mental space where, in some instances, it can be a physical space. Where you might not know what's next. You may be very unfamiliar with, a certain situation. You might can't understand what's going on. But the one thing that you do know, if there's one thing, you do know that you are doing the right thing, right? This ain't got nothing to do with how somebody feels. But sometimes when you got to enter the righteous unknown, how you feel, you might feel the complete opposite of what you know is the right thing. Or what you need to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing. But despite all of that, the one thing you still might know is that you are doing the right things. With God isn't anything possible. Because if you got an almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful God, which you do, if you accept Jesus as Lord and Savior and got a relationship with God, then what can't you really endure, despite how you feel, despite how you think, despite what you know, despite what you can see, right? See the invisible stuff. Everything really starts with what we can't see. See the invisible stuff. Example, me sitting here talking right now, you watching this video, us being here on this earth, right? How did the first person on earth ever get here? They couldn't have procreated with nobody to get here because nobody wasn't here before them because they was the first person on earth. It started with the unseen. It started with God. Although I know we get used to what we can see, what we can feel, what we can hear, what we can smell, what we can touch, because that's in our close proximity. That's what we more relating to. Cool. But don't forget that this all started from the unseen. God first, right? That's the one who started everything. That's the one who created us, created the earth. That's why yes, there is a natural realm, but there is a very supernatural realm. Just as real as me sitting here talking to you in this video, it's that real.
The spirit realm is real. And I like to try to, remind people of that and give a heads up and a warning in some instances in relation to stuff related to the spirit realm. And one of my friends told me something that happened on this videotape. And I asked him, could I see the videotape? On this day, nobody was at home. It just so happened to be me by myself, right? So I immediately went to my room to put the videotape in. When I put this videotape in, the power went out in the entire house. For whatever reason, this videotape, when it was going to different homes, was causing people power to go out, right?